So I'm just
Okay.
going to let me just start again briefly for the sake of people who only have the recording. Come on a bit late. So just welcome to our first live call of Radical Self-Care. And I'm Francis, and I'm one of your support team coaches for this time. And if you'll put yourself on mute, that would be great, because that will improve the audio for everybody. And yeah, I've been a coach for many years and had my own healing journey many years ago, and I've trained in so many different modalities and learned so many different healing practices, and I love to share what I've learned with others in different ways. So I'll pass on to Moon. Do you want to introduce yourself briefly?
Yeah, hi. I'm so glad to be here with all of you today and to be beginning this month of deep practice together. And yeah, I've been a healing arts practitioner for almost 20 years, and like Fran, studied and practiced many different modalities, and I'm just really happy to be here with all of you today. Okay.
Great. And just Moon, to let you know that I've made you the host, so you can mute anyone if there is any sound disturbance coming through.
Great.
So I invite you to just check in that you've got everything you need for this hour, and to really dedicate this hour to yourself and your self-care and your healing. You're really worth spending this time not being distracted by devices or anything else. So do what you can to make sure you can be alone and undisturbed for this hour, and really dedicate this hour to yourself and your healing. And just checking you've got everything you need. Do you need to get a drink? Do you need to have a nice pillow or a blanket around you or something like that? Get whatever you need to make you the most comfortable and supported and in this sanctuary to really drop into some deep self-care today. And you might want to have a journal and pen handy. You might want to have a candle lit as well. You might want to light a candle. So those of you that are new to the Women's Wellness Circle, welcoming you to the community for this time of this course, and welcome, of course, to all of our members that have been with us for a while as well. Welcome to all of you. And yeah, Moon and I are very passionate about sharing the tools and practices that most supported our healing journey, and particularly in conscious circles of women, because we also believe in the power of women's circles for healing, the power of that container. So yeah, it'd be great to just have a sense of who's here today. If you want to type in, or we can kind of see you all, but maybe where you're calling in from, so we have a sense of the global circle of women that's here. And if you're new, you might want to say just a little bit extra about yourself so that people can get to know you. That would be wonderful. So from today, we'll be doing a deep guided meditation. We'll be doing some journaling and tapping together. And there'll also be an energy medicine practice before that as well. And then there'll be sharing and Q&A time as well. And I will read out what you're writing in a minute, or who we've got in the circle. But before I do, I'll just let Moon read our opening reading for today.
Yeah, so this winter I've really fallen in love with this writer, Bridget Anna McNeil, who I know some of you are familiar with. And so this reading comes from her. The first medicine you must choose is the medicine of self-love and self-compassion. It is from this place of care and respect for who you are that your choices will change. When you love yourself, what you choose for yourself will be different. You will no longer choose the things, the voices, the people, the foods, or the moments that will do you harm. You will instead choose real healing, a healthy voice, good medicine, nourishing foods, wholesome people, and inspiring moments. If you do not care for yourself and love yourself, you will keep pouring poison in some form into your bones, believing that you deserve less than, believing that you deserve to be destroyed. You will never truly come back home to your body, to clean out the cobwebs and strengthen the foundations when you do not love the home you see. And I'll just read that last sentence one more time. You will never truly come back home to your body, to clean out the cobwebs and strengthen the foundations when you do not love the home you see.
Powerful reading. Thank you, Moon. So we have Victoria from Oregon saying hi to everyone, Mariska from the Netherlands, Alison in Newbury, West Berkshire, UK, Shirley from Wiltshire, UK, Ingrid from Colorado, USA, and Caroline from Petworth, West Sussex, UK, and from Becky, we have Becky from Cumbria in the UK, Ria from Bath, and Naomi says hi everyone, And Josephine from Northern Ireland, Rachel from Berkshire, Sally from Swindon, Wiltshire, Valerie from Ireland, Lara from Alicante, Joyce from Nebraska, USA, Caroline from Finland, wonderful, and Joanne in Sheffield. Thank you. Welcome to all of you, and to anyone who hasn't yet typed in where you're calling in from, welcome to you as well. Okay, so we're going to move into practice now. So we're going to move into meditation practice. I invite you to get yourself comfortable for meditation. That might in this moment involve you lying down if that's what your body's really calling for. Christine McGee has started to share her screen for some reason. Moon, is that disturbing? Do you think anything, or is it okay? Do I just leave it? I'm trying to. Oh no, you are the host, Moon. So you'll need to sort that if you can.
I'm trying to get it resolved.
You can on the. I think you can sort of make it so that they're not screen sharing anymore. So you can. I think if you click on the 3 dots or something, it will give you the option to stop the screen share.
Okay.
Unless you want to make me host a moment, but you can handle it.
I'll make you host if you already know how to do it. There we go.
I hope I know how to do it. It happened for the first time recently and I just figured it out. But okay, let's see. Stop participant sharing. Yeah, should be sorted. Okay, great. We're back. Right. Okay, so I'll put you back to host. Moon.
Great.
Where have you gone? You're there. Sorry, everybody. Random tech issues. It happens. Okay, so take a moment to get yourself comfortable. And in this moment, it might mean that you want to lie down, you might want to check in with your body, or you might want to be sat upright but relaxed, or get your favorite meditation cushions, or whatever it is that works for you to practice meditation. I guess most of you are familiar with that practice. So I invite you to get yourself comfortable, and then when you're ready to close your eyes and to come inside. And to start to notice your breath moving in and out of your body. And to have a gentle smile at your lips. To bring your awareness through your body from the crown of your head all the way down. So you might want to soften all the little muscles around your eye sockets. Bring your awareness through your temples and the whole of your head. Soften your jaw. Opening and closing your mouth a couple of times can really help to soften the jaw. And the whole of the neck. And your awareness moving down your chest, upper back, your chest area, and also including your arms. So down both of your arms, the upper arms, elbows, lower arms, down to your hands and fingertips. So what could it be like in this moment to really inhabit your body with a kind, loving awareness? And the whole of your torso now, softening in your belly area. An invitation for the natural breath, natural fuller breath, all the way down into the pelvis and the womb, or the area your womb would have been if it's been removed. Feel free to make contact with your body as we do this practice. Maybe putting some hands over that area of your body. Inviting the breath deeper down into your body. And through the upper legs, down to the knees and the lower legs. down to the ankles and feet, and feeling the connection of your feet to the floor beneath you, feeling all the way down to the tips of your toes as well, tops of your feet. Take a moment to inhabit the whole of your body with your awareness, to really be present in this incredible body we have. And I know it might not always feel so incredible to some of you if you're suffering with health problems, but just for now, how would it be to bring a deeply loving, compassionate awareness to the whole of your body? And I invite you to call in a sense of protection around you. Now this could look like a golden light, or maybe it's another colored light. A sense of energy that is protecting you and creating a sacred space for you for today's call and for the next 28 days. Cultivating this sense of an orb of light around you, a circle of light surrounding you, protecting you, containing you, creating safety in your system for anything that wants to emerge, for healing, for integration, creating a sacred space to really embrace self-care on the level of your body, on the level of your mind, on the level of your emotions and your heart and your soul, which we'll be exploring as part of this course. So creating this protective, safe bubble around you for your practice, for your self-care for this month. And I invite you to also now imagine expanding this orb of light or bubble around you to include and contain all the women on this course, to create a container around us all. Perhaps it's a golden light, perhaps it's you bring in something that you believe in, like some goddess energy or a spiritual figure that you connect to, or maybe the earth, the power of the earth as well, the power of the universe surrounding this circle, helping create a container for radical self-care, radical self-love, radical practice that can transform and heal and bring physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual healing benefits to all women here. Creating that intention and container for us all. Feel the circle of women around the world being held in this container together. And slowly imagine yourself receiving some of the blessings from this container sent out by all the women here and by Moon and myself as well. Taking it in for yourself, taking in the safety, the love, the intention of this container for your own healing, for all of your parts, for all parts of your being. You could also imagine for a moment that we are sat in circle together. And just take a moment to, in your mind, imagine looking around this circle of women who have been or are on a similar journey. Women who understand what you're going through, who get it. Women who want healing. And women who have the best intentions for you as well. So take a moment to give and receive to the circle in the way that feels right for you in this moment. And then coming back to yourself again and maybe placing one hand on your heart and one hand on your womb area, or the area your womb would be if it's been removed. And really taking a moment to connect to yourself with love, with tenderness, and with care. And take a moment to connect to your deepest intention for being in this circle, your deepest why, your deepest longings. And then slowly coming out of that, slowly thinking about opening your eyes if you're ready, coming back. So for this course, you will get an email a day. We'll have another live call in about 28 days. We'll be exploring healing on the level of your body, your mind, your emotions, and your heart and your soul. We'll be exploring different practices in each of these, the retreat calls that you'll have access to. And there's also a session, a women's temple session, which is very nurturing and beautiful way of working. And also creating your own self-care compass, your own self-care map through getting in touch with your deepest values and being creative with that. And making sure that you are prioritizing time every day to connect to your deepest values in some way. So we do recommend while you're doing this course that you spend an hour a day if possible on self-care, perhaps in the morning, but if that feels like too much of a stretch, don't put extra pressure on yourself. Work within what feels right for you at this time. And also that you make some space to listen to the recordings, to rest and to listen to the recordings and to do the practices in the calls, in the audio calls you'll receive. And maybe put some time in your diary to create some space in your diary for this course, for really going for it, for really immersing yourself in it as much as you can, but also without the pressure or beating yourself up if you feel like you're not doing it enough, because that never helps either. Yeah, and also perhaps time, just to factor in a bit of time to connect in the Facebook community as well. It can be a really powerful resource to share your celebrations, what's inspiring you at the moment, to reach out for support along the way, anything that comes up in any of the calls that you want to share, and to share your deepest desires. And it's a powerful thing to have other women receive you and hear you, and it can also be powerful for other women to read your sharings as well. Everyone can grow. We're all connected and have similar things going on. So yeah, so I'll pass over to you. Well, let me just see if there's anyone else that I hadn't said hello to yet. I think. Oh yes, no, that's fine. Okay, so Moon, passing over to you. If you want to make me host, you can do in case there's any
Okay, yeah, I'll go
issues.
ahead and do that. Thanks, Fran. That was a really beautiful practice and container that you offered for us to get started and to really help us establish the field that we're all going to be swimming in. So yeah, for the next 28 days, unless you live with someone else who's taking this course, everyone will be practicing on their own, but we are in this enhanced connected container practicing together, which will make it easier. There will be support there. So if you find that you run into some difficult moments, lean back into the support, maybe revisit this opening meditation. So I want to offer a short practice right now. So this month is a lot of different invitations. And so this is a very short invitation. It's a tapping invitation that you can use anytime you just need to kind of settle your nervous system and utilize the optic nerve in doing that. So um, whatever position you're in, whether you're laying down or sitting up, allowing your head to gently rest into a straight position and extend your arm, one arm, doesn't matter which one, out in front of you. And I'm just going to show you. So one arm is extended out, and with the other hand, you're going to be tapping the gamut point, which is right between the last two tendons on your hand. So extending that arm straight out. And your head's going to stay in one position, but your eyes are going to follow your fingers very slowly. So you're tapping and with your eyes only, following your fingers as your arm slowly goes up over your head to the point where you can't see your fingers anymore. And then bringing it slowly back in and letting your eyes follow your arm, your fingers, all the way down to the floor. And letting your eyes continue to follow without moving your head. And if you move your head, it's like you just remind yourself, oh, I'm not supposed to be moving my head. And then letting it come back up to where we started. And so that's the whole exercise. It takes about a minute. You're welcome to keep doing it for a moment as I talk about it. And you can kind of notice what you feel, and if there's one word that you're noticing and you want to type it into the chat box. What I experience when I do this exercise and practice is that it very quickly downshifts my nervous system. So during these 28 days, you'll be offered tools that are practices that are expansive, you know, for that longer time you have in the morning or whenever you have that. And then there are practices that help you to come back to yourself throughout the day that maybe take a moment or two so that we can really develop this cultivation of when I'm activated, here's what I do. When I'm activated, here's how I settle myself and resource myself. So yes, absolutely. Thanks for the question, Ria. So you're tapping on the hand. It's called the gamut point in EFT, and it's right between the tendons of your pinky and ring finger. There's a fleshy spot right in there. And I usually do it with 3 fingers, but it doesn't really matter. And you're just tapping on that point with your hand, with your arm extended straight out. And again, it doesn't matter which hand you're tapping with and which hand you're extending, and you can switch them. But the principles are that your head doesn't move and your eyes. So we're working with the optic nerve here. And you may be familiar, there's a number of modalities that work with the optic nerve, brain spotting and EMDR being 2 of them. And there's also some practices in EFT that work with the optic nerve, and this is one of them. So yeah, Ria, thank you for your clarifying question. And if at any time while we're going you have a question and you don't understand something, please type in the chat box, because most of the time we're not the only one holding a question. Okay, so if anyone has any questions about that practice, or if you want to share just something you notice, because one important aspect of self-care practice is noticing when we engage in a practice, noticing the shifts that unfold within us. Okay. So the next practice that we're going to be doing is, oh, okay. Yeah, Ingrid, thank you. Ingrid says surprisingly calming. Yeah, that's how I felt the first time I did it too. It's like, wow, that was very short and it had a surprisingly calming effect on me. So yeah, thank you. So the next practice we're going to do is a combination of journaling and tapping together. And I'm going to talk about it a little bit, but as I get going, if you are unfamiliar with EFT tapping and this is your first time hearing about it, would you mind sharing that in the chat box, just because I want to make sure that everyone knows what we're doing, and I also don't want to repeat things if we all have um, that knowledge already. So anyway is just fine. And also, if this is your first time to tapping, we can send out a handout later with the points so you have all of that. Great. Thank you, Becky. Awesome. Okay. Thanks, Becky. That was really helpful. Okay, so um, okay, so yeah, so I will send around a handout. We'll send around a handout to everyone with the EFT points. And just really briefly, EFT tapping comes to us from the fields of energy psychology and the meridian system running through our bodies. It's a very simple practice with many different ways of engaging in it. And the basic premise is that we're tapping different points on the body and on the face to bring about healing, to clear stuff stored in the subconscious and enhance the flow of energy through the meridian systems and the organ systems in our body, and has the potential to downregulate the activation in the brain. So that's just like a real tiny summary of EFT. And so if this is your first time to EFT, welcome, and don't worry about getting any of the points or anything right. You can't do it wrong. And we're going to be doing a few different things here. So you just start where you are. And Fran and I will both be tapping once we get going, so you can always look up to us to see what's happening. But if you even just pick one of the points and you want to just tap one point and just stay there the whole time, that's fine. Okay. And so the reason that the invitation here for this next practice is this combination of journaling and tapping is because for this practice, I really want to support our ability to be curious and to be surprised about what we might find inside ourselves, and to be able to drop through that, oh, I already know. I already know. There's nothing inside me I don't know. I'm not going to be surprised. And tapping really helps us to drop down out of that cognitive need to know mind and to let the subconscious, the healing and the wounds and the wisdom from the subconscious bubble up. So that's why we're linking them here. And so this whole month, and you're welcome to just kind of tap the points as I'm talking a little bit now to just kind of prime the pump of your system. We're offering you a month of invitations. Invitations for practice and for deep reflection and for nourishing and caring for yourself. And in this invitation, we're going to explore our relationship with self-care at this moment. And we're going to invite ourselves to just be really curious about what's here. And with all of our invitations, always take a moment to consider, how might I like to approach this? And so if you're someone who loves to journal and to write copious amounts, maybe you might want to close your eyes and tap and not write any words, or open your eyes and write down one word or phrase that arises. It's like however your being is drawn to engage in this exercise, trust that and allow the self to be an act of trust and care for yourself. And there's another invitation I want to offer here, which is that as we're going, if you want to type in one word or phrase into the box that's surfacing for you, we'll have time for a real Q&A sharing later. You're welcome to do that. And I also want to share with you my experience in group taps is that I allow the voice of the facilitator to kind of be in front of me and the words rise up within me. So I often don't repeat what they're saying, and it's like it's a guide, because a group tap can be general. And if something more specific arises for you, let that be there. Okay, so here we go. All right, so coming to the side of the hand, this is just where we often start with EFT. Just tapping on that karate chop side of the hand and saying to yourself, okay, here I am. Here I am at the beginning of this 28-day immersion in self-care. I'm here today at the beginning. Let me take a look for a moment. Where am I right now? What is my relationship to my self-care right now? And allowing that question to bubble up as you're tapping. Perhaps you're writing with your journal. Where am I right now? What do I long for from these 28 days? And again, letting yourself be curious and be surprised. You might find something that isn't the spark that brought you here. Whatever it is, just opening to your experience. What do I most need? What do I long for from this journey? And let me just take a look for a moment. Where am I starting from? I'm starting from a place of. And from this place where we're starting, let's get real curious and connect in. What are my tendencies? What should I know about myself as I embark on this journey? Am I someone who puts it all off till the last week? Am I someone who dives in 1,000% and wears myself out, and by week 2 I'm done? I've lost interest or exhausted myself. Just asking yourself this question, like, what are my tendencies? How do I approach practice? How do I approach new experiences? If you're joining us in this community for the first time, welcome, and asking yourself, what happens for me when I join a new group? What are my tendencies? What does that feel like? And just noting down anything that's here for you. Anything you want to be aware of as you dive in. And then coming back to a new question. What might be missing in my healing journey or my daily routine, my self-care practices? Is there anything missing? Is there anything I need that I don't have? Probably the answer to that question for all of us is yes. And let's drop down a little deeper and investigate. Do I have any blind spots in my healing? Of course, we all do. And so, what are my blind spots? Everyone has them. I have them. What might they be? They're blind spots. So how can I see them? If I were to see my blind spots, what might they be? And if they're just flowing out of you, just continue seeing your blind spot. Being willing to be surprised. And if they're not flowing out, let's take a moment and be really silly. And make a list either with the tapping or in your journal. Here are 5 things my blind spots definitely aren't. And be willing to be really silly. My blind spots definitely aren't the fact that my plant is dying and I can't figure out what to do with it, for it. My blind spots are that I'm wearing a blue-green shirt today. 5 things your blind spots definitely aren't. My blind spots definitely aren't. My blind spots definitely aren't. And now let's move into 3 things our blind spots might be. Being willing to be wrong. Being willing to be silly. My blind spots might be. My blind spots might be. And just the first thing that surfaces for you. My blind spots might be. Okay. And wherever that brought you, just acknowledging and appreciating. And then let's ask this question. Do I feel nourished by my daily routine as it is right now? If yes, let's rejoice. If no, what do I see about that? What do I know about that? Where might I need to develop myself? Do I feel nourished in my body, in my mind, in my emotions, in my heart, in my soul? What do I need? And again, being willing to be surprised, being willing to lighten up. I mean, maybe your answer is, I need to just have more fun. I need to laugh. I need to be silly. And just letting whatever's there for you bubble up. And if nothing's bubbling up for you, letting that be too, knowing you can return to this practice at any time. And then let's just ask a final question here. What do I need to make space for so I can enter this month of deep immersion and radical self-care? Is there anything internally or externally that's stopping me from being fully, joyfully, easily committed? Is there anything I need to say no to so I can say yes to this time? And so as you feel ready, we welcome any sharings in the chat box. We welcome writing, taking time to make notes for yourself if you were tapping with your eyes closed. And feel free to continue tapping or to stop tapping depending on what your body's asking for in this time. And I really invite you to keep this premise of being willing to be curious and being willing to be surprised. I feel like we live in a time in general, larger society and culture where this need to know and to be right and to know what's going on can inhibit our creativity. Yeah, Victoria, I can see you nodding. And so this is an invitation to lighten up and approach self-care perhaps with a mind of fun. As I was going through my morning, I had a bit of a row with my partner this morning, and I had a couple moments of a break, and I ended up, he takes these horrible pictures, he's a terrible photographer. And so I was like, well, just send him a funny picture. And then, so I said oh, I'm sending you these funny pictures. And then he was like, oh, feet pictures. And I noticed all the pictures I sent him had feet in it. And then my creativity got sparked and I made like a whole series, just 5 minutes of feet pictures and sent them to him. And we both like laughed and it lightened everything. So that's just a inspiration to like self-care can be really fun and silly, as well as serious and deep. Okay, so Fran, here we go into the sharing and Q&A.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that practice. It was wonderful. And just welcome back from Devon as well. And yeah, so Mariska shares, I can clearly feel I see self-care as a chore and a task rather than a loving act of kindness to myself. And I'm curious about how you learned that as well. But I would love to change this perspective and really open my heart to myself and give self-care to myself rather than do it to myself as another thing on my to-do list. And I think, yeah, for many people, that's such an important part of the healing journey, not to just see it as a chore or something I should be doing, ought to be doing to get myself well, but something that we're, gifting ourselves and loving ourselves through the self-care and through the practices. Thank you. Do you want to say anything else on that, Moon? Or?
Yeah, well, I just wanted to really echo what you said in the beginning, Fran, as you were reading Mariska's comment of the curiosity of like, oh, I wonder like where you learned this, and I think it's always really valuable to kind of deeply explore through tapping or another method, like where did I learn this idea that self-care is a chore or whatever beliefs or notions that any of us are carrying around about self-care that are inhibiting and restrictive, to explore those.
And just a reminder that you have to share to everyone for everyone to be able to read it. Just a reminder of that as well. Caroline says, I need to create more fun. Sally says, I definitely need to lighten up. Victoria says, I'm reminded of the Buddhist practice of beginner's mind. Yes, wonderful to always have that beginner's mind, the way we approach practices and self-care. I always fall behind. Shirley says, I always fall behind as the daily emails arrive, so I intend to put perfectionism aside and do what I can and laugh if I get annoyed with myself. Absolutely, yes. Do your best with keeping on track with things, and also leave the rest, yeah, and absolutely. That sounds great. Laughter's a great medicine, always. Alison shares, I would like to open to the possibility of experiencing a healing circle of women. This would be amazing to let in. Oh, Alison, I really invite you to, let that in as a healing conscious circle of women is an incredible healing resource for us. I really believe that and experience that myself as well. Thank you. May it be so for you. Nicola shares, self-care has become something for me where I do it just to be well enough to go to work, and then my work depletes me. I don't seem to be able to build a reserve, just empty. Oh, thanks for sharing that, Nicola. It reminds me of when I was ill and I would sort of lie on the floor for half an hour in order to be able to go out with my friends for a bit or something like that. But it might be that to up your self-care for a while, so you're really building up your tank of energy and resource. And if there is a way you can reduce your work a little bit, or at least bring some of your self-care practices into your work, so you're perhaps regularly regulating your nervous system through the day. Maybe even if it involves going to the bathroom and doing a bit of energy medicine or something like that. But thanks for sharing that. Josephine shares, I've started laughter yoga today.
Yes.
Yay, absolutely love that. Really wonderful.
That's awesome, Josephine. Also, I did a while ago with a colleague laughter tapping. So for anyone doing laughter yoga, adding in the tapping while you're laughing can be pretty amazing. I just wanted to share that.
Yeah, I've seen, there's a YouTube video of someone doing that and they say, even though I have this issue, ha ha ha, and then they kind of laugh out loud and then it just becomes quite, it's really good actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to go back to what Victoria said. Like, I think if I had a wish for all of us, it's that every single one of us, including Fran and myself, approaches this 28 days with that beginner's mind. And that, like, no matter how much self-care we've all been doing, whatever we know or don't know, like, let this be a really fresh experience of self-care. Yeah.
It's wonderful. Yeah, Claire says, I was beating myself up as I I was beating myself up as I start these courses and don't stick with the exercises. I love the idea of making it fun and being curious. Great, Claire. Yeah. Do what you can, do what speaks to you, and leave the rest and make it fun. And yeah. Becky says, I sometimes feel selfish and sometimes I get frustrated because self care is so essential. I never seem to get anything else done. Yeah, I know when you're on a healing journey, it seems to, certainly for me, for a period, it was like, oh my gosh, I have to give myself so much self-care in order to sort of function just minimally. And I did at times feel like, oh, this is really selfish. But then I developed a motto, I have to be selfish, not selfish. But in order to be a selfless, ultimately, as I'm not really much used to other people when I'm, chronically fatigued and in bed most of the day, it's like I need to work on getting myself well so that I can then I can serve others more. When I've got a really full cup, you're really worthy of giving yourself care. And also, those of you who are more towards the end of your healing journey, you're still worthy of giving yourself care. And as well, if you've fully recovered, like I think I know some of you have, then you're still worthy of the self care. It's really, really important to keep it up for the rest of your life, I think, once you're on this journey. And yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to carry on for a bit? Or...
Yeah. Oh, yeah, sure. Bex, I've been frustrated by having little energy for self-care, and I feel a perfectionist tendency to do more, even though I'm overwhelmed by how many resources there are. So yeah, Bex, I'm really glad you shared that, and that was actually part of the inspiration for that first part we did with the journaling tapping of like seeing where we are and working to balance out our tendencies. So it can be overwhelming, and to just really acknowledge I feel overwhelmed by the resources. And then it's just like, what might I like to do today? And so for this course, we're recommending a minimum of 20 minutes a day of practice, ideally an hour. Again, depending on your internal and external aspects of your life, and being really gentle if you're in a circumstance where that's not possible, and knowing that whatever you can do is a really good start and is really good. And so maybe just for the duration of this course, it's like I'm going to do 20 minutes of practice. I'll follow along with the emails and I'll see where I get to, and just being easy and gentle and walking yourself back from that achiever perfectionist tendency. Nicola, thank you, Fran. Yes, the bathroom has become my friend on all occasions. Totally. um, Always going off to do some EFT. Thank you. Yeah, the bathroom is quite amazing for getting a moment. Serena, I really resonate with chore syndrome and recognizing how work study has to come first, although money is needed. Ha ha ha, ho ho ho, need to lighten up. Yes, awesome. Choice. I'm currently on an antibiotic, which feels like rat poison to my sensitive body. Is there any practice that will help with this? Yeah, I really recommend tapping with that. Like, even though I'm taking this medicine that's supposed to help me and it feels like rat poison, I'm okay. And just tapping with that to kind of neutralize it. And, doing a practice where maybe you sit with the medication before you take it and you make a prayer like, may this medicine harmonize with my body, and may any harmful effects be greatly diminished or eliminated. And to really try to bring your being in harmony with the medicine that you're receiving. So at least there's not that added layer of conflict. So that's something I've done a lot. So you can let me know how that works for you. Sue, I'd like to ask myself what I need and want to do rather than what I should do next. Beautiful. Yeah. Allison, if people can't get to a laughter yoga class, there are free telephone laughter lines. I do one every morning for 10 minutes. That's really awesome, Allison. If you have a moment, maybe you could post in the chat or on the Facebook group how people connect with those, because that's an awesome resource. Thank you for sharing it. Mara, I start off with self-care routine daily, but then after a few weeks, I stop doing it. I think I have a rebel sabotage which comes to the fore, or it just all feels too much to continue doing the same thing. It's a real problem for me. Any help? Um, let's see, I'm just digesting that for a moment. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think one thing that I could recommend, and Fran, I'd love to hear you weigh in on that too, would be to explore that part. So you to do some parts work with, like, right now I feel really inspired. If my pattern serves in a couple weeks, it'll peter off, and to really see what you can to engage a dialogue between those parts, maybe with tapping, maybe with support, or maybe on your own, and then see what they have to say, see what you can learn. One question I have that can be common with this kind of a pattern, which may not be the case for you, Mara, is when we tend to be very excited and overzealous in the beginning, then we're kind of overdoing it. And then our energy kind of peters out and our inspiration for it peters out. So one thing I wonder is if you like cut in half, say the time you're committing in the beginning, if you might be able to sustain a regular amount for the duration. Fran, do you have any
I
thoughts
would
to
have just
share on
said
that?
really similarly to explore the parts involved in it. Maybe the part, yeah, the part of you that gets really enthusiastic about it for a few weeks, and then the part that comes in and sabotages in some way, and to explore that further, what's going on there in your system, in your being, and yeah, and it could be that part of you comes in that maybe, I don't know, doesn't feel you deserve that level of self-care, or even doesn't deserve to get well and to heal in some way, and is trying to sabotage that. So really to meet those different parts of your system and bring some healing to them. And again, like Moon said, you might want to bring that to a practitioner, or you might want to explore that yourself with EFT. Okay. We're going to have to go through them quite quickly now so we can close in 8 minutes. Rachel shares, definitely lighten up and have more fun. Smile and laugh much more. Yes, maybe so, Rachel and everyone. And Josephine says, I also gave myself 5 mins in the sun today. Yes, yeah. Time outside in the sun and nature, so healing. Valerie shares, I find it hard to put myself to the forefront of my life, not feeling enough to do so. Giving to others is easy for me, but receiving is so hard. So just receiving this time to put aside, and also to let the overwhelm of life wash over me instead of getting caught up in it. So I have much time for self-care. So I have time for self-care. Much love to all. Thank you for sharing that, Valerie. And yeah, may it be so that you know that you are totally worthy and okay to put yourself at the forefront of your life, and to really fill your own cup and your own being before it's spilling out to others. So yeah, thank you. Beck shares, thanks Moon. Yes, I'll do that. Like a lot of women here have said, I seem to start a lot of the programs and then don't keep up. So maybe I've been applying perfectionist tendencies to this too. Yeah, it could be the perfectionist part, absolutely. Just did tapping on overwhelm and it helped this feeling. Thank you, Bex, for sharing that. Yeah, and whatever's coming up around all of this, you can tap on that specific piece and it can really bring some good relief. Thank you. Serena shares, Tamora, maybe have a creative fun list and choose to keep you from getting bored. But yes, Moon, parts would be helpful for me for sure. Thank you, Serena. Great. Yeah, love that. Christine shares, I want to have more fun. Yay. And I think an important element of healing is to have more fun and to engage with joy and connect to what it is that brings you the most joy, and really prioritize that in your life. It's not just about doing the self-care practices, it's about having fun, connecting with joy, and doing the things that we love and being around the people that we love. Ingrid shares, I am looking forward to approaching this course with a different energy and intensity. What feels nurturing and playful for me now? Doing practice is not an issue. Minimizing the perfectionist is where some healing could benefit my system. Absolutely. Thank you. Good recognition, Ingrid. I want to have the intention of playfulness with this, which makes me smile. Yay. Love that. Playfulness. Yeah. And smiling and and soothing that perfectionist part that's trying to get it all right, and that's the key for many people on this journey. Maria shares, I'm excited at the thought of playfulness. I feel like being ill has really sucked the playfulness out of me, and I'd like it back in my life. Thanks for sharing that, Ria. Absolutely, may it be so. May playfulness come back into your life. And yeah, it's such an important part of our being to play. I think there's been quite a bit of research around how important play is for adults as well. So yeah. Okay, so Moon, do you have any final words before we move to the brief practice to close? Or
Yeah, I just really want to appreciate and acknowledge all of you, those here live and those on the recording, for coming together in this way. And I'm really excited to be here with all of you and supporting this journey over the next 28 days. And I just want to honor each of you for bringing forward your questions and your courage and your vulnerability, and your wisdom, and a special acknowledgement to anyone for whom tapping was brand new. It was kind of a lot to throw in together, and I hope that it was okay. And if it wasn't, know that coming up in the course to come is much more information on tapping, and you can always revisit what we did today if you want, or if you were frustrated by it in any way.
And also for those of you that are new to the community, just a reminder that we actually have a coaching call next Wednesday as well, which you're all welcome to join. And we also have office hours and intention setting ceremonies every Monday as well on Facebook, which you're welcome to join. So there is more time that we can all come together as well during this course, as well as you taking the course on your own, the self-study element. So it'd be great to have you there.
Yeah. And all of those dates are in that welcome email. So of the intention setting ceremonies, office hours, and coaching calls. So that's all there for you to map out on your diary if you want to join in live.
So just take a moment to connect to yourself again, your body. Maybe put one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. Just going to do a little reading from Tara Brach. In describing our human predicament and disease, D.H. Lawrence says that we are like a great tree with its roots in the air. We need to replant ourselves in our bodies, hearts, and spirits. So take a moment to perhaps set that intention to replant yourself in this month together, in your body, in your heart, in your spirit, and to send blessings out to other women here, that may it be so for the other women here as well. Send out some of that love and take it in for yourself again. Wishing yourself and all the other women here a month of deeper radical self-care, of healing, of transformation, of whatever is needed for the next step in your healing journey and in all the other women's here healing journey too. And just a little question there I'll speak to you for a moment. So just coming back slowly, feeling that circle and wiggling your toes and fingers and opening your eyes. And office hours and intention setting ceremonies are in the Facebook community group, and there is a post that usually should go up on the Friday where you can post questions that will be answered currently by Moon or myself or Jen. In office hours there might be some changes coming soon, which we'll announce soon, but you can, there'll be intention setting ceremonies, some practice of some kind, and then there'll be we'll answer the questions as well, and you can also just join live and ask questions when you join live as well. And you can also find all the replays of past ones in the video section in the Facebook community, which is quite a resource as well. But you might want to just focus on this course for now, because that's probably enough for now. But you might want to at some point go back and listen to some of those, because there is a lot in there. May we all treat ourselves as our very best friends, says Serena. Yes, may it be so. Do you have any final words to say goodbye, Moon, before I close the call?
I think if we have just one more comment.
Oh yeah.
Thank you, Moon and Francis, to being so committed to supporting this lovely group of sisters. Yeah, you're really welcome. Yeah, and just so much love to all of you. And it would be amazing if we were at a retreat center for 28 days together to just deeply practice and be nourished and well-fed in a beautiful place. And since we're not, let's really lean into the container that's here, and to really feel that supporting us, and to feel our journeys lighter and a little bit more fun as we move through the month, and to just keep coming back to yourself and willing to change and willing to be curious and willing to be surprised, so that you can approach this in a truly new way.
And thank you for all the gratitude coming in and gratitude to coming back to all of you for being part of this container and part of this circle. Everyone adds something. Okay, so wishing you all well, and we'll be in touch.
Bye.
Bye.